Hi, my name's Alena, and this is my story. I was born in North Carolina into a military family, and my parents raised me in a godly household. So I moved to South Korea, and then I moved to Arizona. And when I was about 6 or so, the preacher at our church talked about this God that came down so that Jesus could die for us. And when you have faith in him, like, you don't have to have shame in all that sin. And that was a really confusing concept for me. But I was like, whatever that is, it sounds cool, and I want that. So I became saved. And then we moved to Alabama and then Virginia, and that's where I got baptized. And then we moved to Germany, and then we moved to South Carolina. Then I met a boy. I liked him, he liked me, and it was kind of like artificial. There was no real substance to our relationship necessarily, because we didn't really know what we were doing. We just liked each other, so we should have a relationship, but that's not how it should be. And so after the honeymoon phase, I guess, God wasn't the center of it whatsoever. So we started to have to deal with physical temptation, and because God wasn't the center of it all, we easily slipped into that temptation. So things really started going downhill. I was just filled with guilt and shame, and I hid from my parents all the time. And I started separating myself from my friends, and my relationship with God really suffered because of that. After a while, I basically went from having my first kiss with him to everything, my first everything within about a year-ish. And I really got angry at myself because of that. I was so far away from God. It was really bad. And eventually he broke up with me because of some things. And I still just held on to him because it had gotten so bad. I was idolizing him, and my relationship with God was strained so much. I basically made this boy my God. And I gave him everything, my heart, my body, because I thought I was in love with him, because we threw the word love back and forth, but what it really was lust. And it finally took me separating myself from that person to realize that I wasn't just an object for some boy. I realized Christ died for me, so I didn't have to feel so full of shame, so full of guilt, and that I could have hope. And that's my story.